Hi everybody. So I got something special in, and yeah, we get a lot of special things in, but this I wanted to highlight in a minute. You know, Martin made a lot of pearl trim guitars. This right there, and you can see the pearl, it's actually abalone. And abalone trim is like the inside of a shell, you know, the mother of pearl, you might say, the shell being the mother of the pearl, right? Yeah. So Martin used this. This is an 1898 Martin, and I'll just strum it. These are quiet guitars. They're really meant for parlor. You're going to sit in the parlor and entertain your friends in a room this size. These are wonderful guitars. They're super lightweight and very loud for their size. But Martin used pearl trim. They had a D-45 that they started making in 1933, and they stopped making at World War II. When that started, there was the war effort, and they stopped making pearl trim. There is no factory-made pearl trim guitars between 1944, 54, 64, 68. That's the first time they made any pearl trim guitars, except by very special order. So Martin's top of the line guitar, the guitar that Neil Young and David Crosby and Graham Nash all coveted, were these pre-war D-45s. And these were, the guys in the know in the 60s were like, oh my God, I found a pre-war D-45. So then there's a guy named Mike Longworth who did he did banjos in the 50s and 60s. He did pearl inlay and did the pearl inlay on a lot of guitars. Mike Longworth would send guitars to Martin. They would send it to Mike, he would send it back, and there was a handful, like 6, 7 special order guitars that he did for them. And the last one he did for himself. He did a D-45, and the 45s have trim here. They have trim here. They have trim there. They have trim all over the top. They have trim here. That's a 45. Now, I'm going to tell you, you don't put bad wood. If you're going to put all of that trim on all of that guitar, why the heck would you use bad wood? No, you're going to use the finest wood you can, right? So I've told this a long time. This is true of all the manufacturers. As one guy told me back in the late 70s, when you see pearl trim, you know we don't polish a turd. Meaning we don't use bad woods. We're not going to do all this work unless the wood is magnificent. It's true today. Upper end guitars get upper end wood, and by the time you get to that level of wood on the pyramid, the pinnacle is really small. So no pearl trim guitars from after World War II until 1968, when Mike Longworth sent his guitar in to Martin to have them finish it. He was hoping they would do what they did, and they went ring ring, hello Mike Longworth. How do you feel about making D-45s for us? And 1968 was the first year that D-45s came back into being. And honestly, they sold more between 1968 and 1969 than they did in 33, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, then all of those years combined. 68, the response, and largely because Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, and Neil Young looking like he did with the 45, that was such a nostalgic guitar, and they were getting big money. Today, I've seen those certain models of that $250,000 for a pre-war D-45, and they're only going up in value. Yes, just like violins. Now wait, there's more. Our buddy Dick Boak. Dick Boak is an artist that was hired by Martin, and then he moved into artist relations. So Dick Boak, you know, made arrangements with Eric Clapton to replicate his guitar, and Dick Boak has done a lot of stuff. Dick Boak retired a few years ago, but Dick Boak, you should look him up. He was a very, very talented guy. He was a student of Buckminster Fuller, And Bucky Fuller invented the geodesic dome. He moved out to California, did the hippie thing, and came back and worked for Martin until just recently. And I've been out having sushi with Dick Boken. He's a wonderful human being and a great guy to talk to. Well, back in '68, Longworth was that guy. And so in 2004, they did this, which is a Mike Longworth model, and this is the point of the video. This is a Mike Longworth, and look at the headstock. That headstock doesn't normally come on a D-45, but Longworth did it on the first guitar he sent to Martin and had them refinish it. He was an inlay artist that used to take D-28s, and guys down in Texas area, he would take D-28s and convert them into 45s. And you ever seen Hank Snow's guitar? Hank Snow had it all done in pearl. Mike Longworth did that on his kitchen table. Mike Longworth was an inlay artist. Mike Longworth also did the D-41 for Martin, and he made it so you couldn't turn that into a D-45. Mike Longworth was a genius, and this is a Mike Longworth limited edition. This is an ode to those early pre-war D-45. It is an Adirondack top. An Adirondack is a stiffer wood. That's why guys use it. It has a little more, it has a very woody response to it. Adirondack is called New York spruce because of the Adirondack Mountains go through New York. And then if you, here's a word to the wise, ever get one of these at the hardware store, does that hurt when I do that? Sorry. You can look inside your guitar, and as you're looking, what you'll see is scallop braces. Can we see that? See those in there? That little pinnacle? Is that possible? Here, I'll turn it up. Oh, you know what? I've got an example of it right here. If you look inside, what you're going to see is scalloped bracing. You'll see these little pyramids there as you look inside your guitar, and that pyramid is from the scallop bracing. This is a regular brace. Look at these two braces. That's a standard brace. That is scalloped brace. And again, why do you do that? It allows the top to vibrate more. You could ruin a guitar by cutting it too thin. So this is the kind of thing that only the elders are allowed to do. The children aren't allowed to play in that section of the factory. So all of these, these tiny tone braces are like that. The major X braces are scalloped. And on this guitar, that is a scalloped braced guitar in a nod to these pre-war guitars. So this is coming in. It's not going to hit the website just yet. This is in fine condition. It doesn't have any cracks. We're going to humidify it a little bit. And here's why. If you run your finger over this, you're going to actually not feel the finish. You're going to feel those straws of the grain. And that means it's sunk into the wood a little bit. We will bring that back out, but this is for sale. We have a pretty good microphone on our camera here, but you gotta hear this in person. The detail at the upper end, the clarity, the sizzle, the bass response, the boom, the beauty. It is gorgeous. D-45s are heirloom quality. This has had a pickup in it. You probably noticed it when I did that, and this is a K&K pickup installed. You won't need a battery. It's been installed on this guitar. It's been recently adjusted. People don't normally bring this kind of thing out to play live gigs. Neil Young does, but you know, millionaire rock star, whatever. I've actually played that D-45. I've been on stage and played that D-45 in Neil's. And so it has a strap button at it. That's kind of a standard thing for guys that play, but it's been loved. There is maybe a nick. Oh, there is. No, yep, no, yep, there is a nick, yes. So it's that kind of thing. There is no cracks. This is in really brilliant shape. And I'm going to say one last thing. these things, these humidipacks. Use some caution. You never want to crack these open. The liquid inside of here will destroy your finish. And in this particular guitar, if you look inside at the labels, can the camera see that? Nod for me, camera person. Yeah, you can see they're a little wrinkled. So this guitar with labels in it is probably not served well by these humidipacks being inside there. It's a pretty good idea otherwise, but they dangle a little close to the paper. So you'll be able to get a nice deal on this guitar for that minor little detail. This is a 2004. They made 91 of these and that's it. And it'll go down in Martin history. Adirondack top, Adirondack braces, scallop braces. A wonderful guitar, a nod to pre-war D-45, submitted for your approval, as Rod Serling used to say.